Here we go. Here we go.
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna go back to the basics, Juana.
Yeah.
So what's a normal heart rate? Don't look at your papers, turn them over. You got nothing. Okay, so we got 60 to 100. Do you know what a PRI is?
Is something interval? Your interval?
Yes, it's a PR interval. So it's from the P to the,
R.
okay, that was easy enough. 0.12 to 0.20, that is where we will live today.
Okay.
What's a PRI? I just asked you, so you could just,
interval.
PR interval, and what's a normal PRI?
0.12 to 0.2.
Okay, yeah. QRS complex, does that represent atrial or ventricular?
Ventricular.
Do we panic about atrial dysrhythmias?
No.
No, we don't care. I mean, we care, sorry,
But not as much as a ventricular.
but I'm not running down the hallway. People are in different atrial dysrhythmias all the time. Do we panic about ventricular dysrhythmias?
Yes.
Yes, why?
Because you could not be getting perfusion.
Yeah, usually there's a lack of perfusion or the patient's about to code or things are going very, very bad. So if anything happens to the QRS complex, that is, yes, panic, that is ventricular, right?
Yes.
If something happens to the P wave, it's atrial. So we're like, that's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Okay, so what does a P wave represent in an EKG?
Is it like the atrium filling?
Atrial depolarization, which means the atria is doing something, right?
Oh, so it's contracting. so
Right,
it's-
that is atrial contraction. It's smaller because the atria don't have to pump as hard as the ventricles. How come?
Is it slower?
Less resistance.
Right, it's at the top, right?
Yeah.
So the atria are up here, literally all they have to do is like open the valves.
Like you said.
I said, open their legs. That's it. Okay. They just had a baby. All right. So it just opens. That's it. Right. And that by gravity, it makes their job very easy. Now, what do the ventricles have to do?
Pump against the body.
They have to pump against gravity. They have to pump against resistance. So they're going to pump a lot harder, which is why the QRS complex is very high and big. And the P is like, mhm. And the atria resting is like, you can't even see it on an EKG. Right.
Right.
Right. Because it's so small.
Yes.
Because even when they're doing work, it's like a P wave. You know? Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. So the P wave represents atrial depolarization, which means the atria is doing something. What's a QRS complex represent?
Ventricular.
Ventricular what?
Contraction?
Let's use the big girl words.
Repolarization.
Quit looking at my face. That's what y'all are trying to do, is look at my face. The QRS complex represents. Did y'all not hear me because my mouth is covered, or
Ventricular.
ventricular what?
Depolarization.
Depolarization, which means the ventricles are doing something. So the P wave means atria is contracting, right? Pump. And then the QRS. Boom, 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 boom. PQRS, PQRS, PQRS. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do a rep for you later. All right. And then what does the T wave represent?
Ventricular
Thank you for speaking. Ventricular repolarization, which means the ventricles are resting. Do you understand?
Yeah.
But even when they're resting, they're still working. So you'll see a T wave that's almost as big as the P wave.
Mhm.
Imagine that. All right. So normal heart rate,
60 to 100.
normal PRI,
0.12 to
0.12 to 0.20. QRS complex is less than 0.12. And these are all going to be basically in seconds.
Okay.
So it's going to happen kind of fast. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. How do you calculate a heart rate when you get a 6-second strip?
Multiplied by
10.
Multiply what by 10?
the R.
So the QRS complexes, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Do y'all know how to do that? Do I need to do it for you?
Do it for me.
How many you see?
Do it for me. Do everything for me.
Well, it kind of made sense when he did the 300. He did like the 300.
All right. So if you get a 6-second strip that looks like this. Hey, that's your 6-second strip.
Okay.
What's their heart rate?
30.
30. That's bad.
Okay.
But it's a sinus rhythm, right?
Mhm.
So that is
It's okay.
sinus
Brady.
bradycardia. Okay, sinus bradycardia. Cool. All right, so you understand how to calculate the heart rate. You take the QRS complexes in a 6-second strip and multiply by
10.
10. Got it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do that. Huh?
Got it.
Okay. So that's something that you're going to have to do on an exam, and obviously you're going to have to do in person. Because determining the heart rate, it makes things easier. It's kind of like doing, in your ABGs, you do the pH first, and already know it's acidosis or alkalosis. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is to look at that. Then that can already tell you whether they're tachy or they're Brady, and then you can kind of figure it out from there. Does that make sense? Okay, so you understand P, QRS, and T. Okay, let's talk about the electrical, what's happening in the electrical part. Where is the impulse originated from in a healthy heart? SA node that goes to the AV node, then it goes to the, which then goes to the, before that,
Oh, the right and left.
right and left bundle branches, and then it goes to the Purkinje fibers, which are at the bottom, little fingers at the bottom. Yep. So we call it a sinus rhythm if it originates from the SA node, the sinoatrial node, right? What kind of patients would not originate from that SA node? Yeah, they have a heart block, maybe. Yeah.
If they have AV node dysrhythmias.
Okay, so these would be patients, like, y'all know where the SA node is in the heart, right? It's kind of towards the top at the atria. I need to get that heart out of the way. So if they've had like a previous MI and there was scar tissue there, electrical impulses cannot conduct through scar tissue, correct?
Yes.
Correct. Okay. So if there's scar tissue there, then they're not going to be able to conduct that impulse. But it has to send a signal basically back to your brain so that your brain understands that. So you get this impulse from your brain, right? That tells your heart to beat, right? SA node's up here. Yeah. Because it's a sinoatrial, so it has to be in the cool. All right, so you're going to get a signal from your brain to beat, right? And it's going to do this all day long. Beat, beat, and it's beat, and do its like, electrical thing. Yeah. If there's scar tissue here from a previous MI, it's going to try every time, like it doesn't realize, like I try every time and it doesn't happen. So it will tell it to beat through the SA node. If the SA node has scar tissue, then it will tell your brain, I can't. So it's like, oh, okay, let me send it to the AV node. Well, that takes longer, right?
Yes.
Because usually it's like beat, beat, beat like this. Yes. But it's going to have to go beat,
So slow.
beat, right? So that's going to cause them to be
Bradycardic.
bradycardic. Okay. Do we understand?
Yes.
All right. So if the SA node fails, where will the impulse originate from? The AV node. Okay. It's like a phone line, right? You want to look the phone in the, help. Telephone poles. Thank you. Thank you for help. So the telephone poles, if one of them falls down, can it conduct any impulses to the rest of them? No. So once one is broken, it's very difficult to do that. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. All right. What do we call the pacemaker of the heart? The SA node. Easy enough?
Yes.
Okay. So in order to say that an EKG is normal, we're going to go through a checklist. Okay. Y'all can turn your papers over for this. So you can make sure that you're going to go through each of these for every EKG. Number one is the heart rate 60 to 100. That's the first thing that you're going to do. So you need to calculate heart rate first using your 6-second strip. Got that? Okay. Is it regular? You want to look and see if it's a regular or an irregular rhythm. What do I mean by this?
Look at the QR complexes or like look at the
You can look at the QR. You can also listen. All right. So is it regular or irregular? Which y'all need to know that for every dysrhythmia, and we'll talk about that. Is there a P wave? That's kind of important. Yeah. Because if there's no P wave, that means that the ventricles, like their activity is overtaking the atria, which means this is probably a ventricular dysrhythmia, and that's not good. Okay. Is the PRI 0.12 to 0.20? I'll show you how to do that. Is the QRS less than 0.12? Does every P have a QRS? Because if all you see are P waves, what dysrhythmia is that? Can't, because they're only P waves. So what kind of problem is this? No, there are no QRSs, so it can't be a ventricular problem.
Is it a type of block?
No. It'd be AFib or A flutter, because it's the atria are just firing off to where you can't even see the QRS. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay. If you let me just make sure. If all you see are QRS complexes, what's the problem? All right, what is that? If all you see are just QRS, that's VTAC. Yeah, does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right. Are the P waves normal, which means they have to be smooth, round, and upright? Sometimes you'll just see like a tiny blip, and that means like there's something obviously going wrong in the atria. Okay. All right. You understand your checklist. You're going to do that for every EKG.
Yes.
Okay.